Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about Michael Cohen's much anticipated testimony starting first thing tomorrow morning. It's Sunday night. And why do we know it's going to be first thing? It stands to reason because the prosecution had these two short witnesses that went until 1:00, and there was an early departure for the jury on Friday. And if there was another witness, they'd have put that witness on. And they said two more witnesses at a break. So I think there may be some preliminaries, probably will be a little bit of procedure. And I can imagine the defense trying to mount certain motions before Cohen comes to the stand. But once they're done, the people call Michael Cohen. I don't remember. There are big trials of big witnesses, but just because this is Trump and because of the drama involving Cohen, and most importantly, because of the way both sides have really slapped him around. I mean, the defense has been merciless. They've been calling him Cohen the whole time, not even Mr. Cohen, and the prosecution has made sure to get its lumps in. To join the bandwagon and insult Cohen. So I think it's both the most anticipated and maybe the most pressure-laden testimony in my recollection. Man, oh man, all eyes are on him, including, by the way, the other point is just the drama of, the infidel meets the former king or whatever, the sort of showdown and the psychological stakes, especially given Trump's instincts for, vengeance and hatred and absolute contempt for anyone who crosses him. And nobody has crossed him more definitively than Michael Cohen. All right. It's been clear from the opening that the defense really main strategy will be to go after Cohen, and you'll see starting Tuesday as nasty and savage and prolonged and sort of scattershot, if their performance to date is any indication, a cross of him as can be imagined. By scattershot, I mean they could be very focused and simply say, you hate Trump, right? And you're a convicted liar, right? And say that 6 times and sit down. But I think they're going to go after everything they can. Did he cheat partners in his taxi medallion business? I'm just saying, whatever they're going to throw the whole kitchen sink at him. And then the prosecution, that's been their centerpiece from the start. And I think arguably the centerpiece of the main strategy of the prosecution has been to corroborate him. So they're putting him on at the end. I would have thought, and conventional wisdom, I think, would have been you put him on more in the middle, so that the memory of the cross is not so, which is going to be no matter what. Will really bloody him up. There's a lot of things that, he's done that he's going to have to cop to. But the DA has chosen really to emphasize him more. Basically, I think the strategic thrust of their entire case has been to corroborate Michael Cohen in advance. And now here comes Michael Cohen. So they can say as to every essential piece of evidence that Cohen has to offer, somebody else said it. And even as Cohen is saying it, the jury will be thinking, oh, right, Pecker said, oh, Hope Hicks said that. Oh, Westerhout said that. Now, there are a couple pieces. I've thought about this. They don't quite have 360-degree coverage. And the number one thing that Cohen is going to have to carry on his own is a pretty important meetings that he wouldn't have had to carry alone, except that, and we learned this really clearly on Friday, Alan Weisselberg, the government thinks they can't even reach out to or try to put on the stand. They have no idea what he'll say, and he could perjure himself as he has twice to protect Donald Trump, because he's the other person who could say that there was a meeting in January, and it involved the 3 men Weisselberg, Trump, and Cohen. And in it, they basically hatched the plans for reimbursing Cohen for his payments to Stormy Daniels. And then Weisselberg and Cohen were to go off and figure it out. And in what I think is the most important document in the case, we have a copy of the invoice with Weisselberg's scrawl on it, where he does the computations that take the 130 to Storm that he paid to Stormy, another 50 that's a little bit murky. We'll find out more about it tomorrow, but it's something to do, it seems, with some kind of media technology thing he paid for. It's 180, doubled it to make up for taxes, because to make him whole, you pay about 50% taxes, federal, state, and local in New York. So this is masquerading as a reimbursement, but really he's going to have to pay it as income, because they're calling it payment for legal services. So half will go to taxes. That's an integral part of the scheme, and then another $60,000 in his annual bonus. And that's all scrawled out by Weisselberg. And of course, if Weisselberg were present and were telling the truth, they could stitch this up in no time flat, but they didn't even reach out to him because they don't know what he would say, and they're scared of him. So it's a real illustration of the limitations that the DA has had in this case. They've got really one turncoat, that's Cohen, and everyone else many of them still remain more than friendly, loyal to Trump, and they've had to sort of work around that. But anyway, this big conversation in January, there are three of them in the room. Obviously, Trump can't testify to it or won't testify to it, and Weisselberg is unavailable. Now, the judge on Friday suggested maybe they should get Weisselberg in, put him on the stand out of the presence of the jury, and hear him say he's going to assert the fifth. And maybe that will happen. Though the later indications after that is that the DA would just decide it's not worth the trouble, because there's no way he turns into a constructive witness for them. So the reason it came up is because they want the jury to know about this separation agreement of Weisselberg's, which gives bias if they've got $750,000 hanging over him, and he's not allowed to disparage the company unless absolutely required. They want to let them know about that. And the judge is saying, first, let's hear from Weisselberg. The indications by the end of the week was that the DA is just going to drop the whole thing, and the jury wouldn't see the separation agreement. So that's perhaps where that stands. Or if Weisselberg does take the stand, I think it'll be clear the DA won't put him on, and then it'll be a question for the judge, do they get to see the separation agreement? But anyway, that one meeting, Cohen's going to have to carry it alone in January. And then there's another meeting in February with just Cohen and Trump in the Oval Office. And we know that happened through other witnesses, including Madeleine Westerhout, because she had it on the calendar. And that's where he says that, Trump really, ratified the plan and the sort of calculations that Weisselberg and he had come up with. We do know just the next month, Hope Hicks testified that Trump said that Cohen had done it out of the goodness of his heart. That would at least show consciousness on Trump's part, but much more devastating. Hope Hicks, still someone who I cares a lot about Trump, but does her civic duty, testified that she didn't think that that's true, that's in character for Michael Cohen. In essence, in other words, that Trump lied to her. Anyway, there's a lot of evidence out there. His signing of the checks, 9 checks that he signed, combined with all the testimony we've had of how careful he checks paperwork and the like. The defense has tried to set the stage for saying busy man, multitask, didn't really look. And then a tweet came in the sort of flurry of things through the DA's office paralegal, which they just used to kind of authenticate and therefore admit certain evidence, but we're going to really see it both in Cohen's testimony and in the closing argument. And one of them has Trump acknowledging that he's being paid what they call a retainer And if he knows that much, he knows that's a lie because, Cohen's not doing any legal services for him in 2017. It's just a way to pay him back and make him whole for the Stormy payments. Anyway, most of what Cohen has to say is corroborated. And, we'll see. This is what juries do. But probably many of you out there have heard him in the last couple of years. Since he turned against Trump in 2018 or so, he's told the same story. Strikes me that it's a consistent story. And, he has the advantage here of telling the truth, I think. And, juries every day in that courthouse are asked to accept as true accounts by people who have criminal records and the like. And he'll be another instance. David Pecker, not the most savory witness, but you could tell he was telling the truth. Stormy Daniels, certainly, things that she could be crossed with, but you could tell she was telling the truth. And my feeling is that it's like, Cohen even strikes some. I'm among them, but I can well understand that, and the evidence seems to be most people aren't. But I think he's got a certain kind of charm or something that, you just hear him out and think he is really, really pissed at going to jail. Taking, more than a bullet for Trump, who himself has so far skated away. Plenty of reasons to be biased, and he is biased, and yet I think the account rings true, and we'll see if it rings true to the jury. In any event, as I say, it's corroborated like 350 degrees, but that last 10 degrees, the meeting with Trump, especially in January, that Weisselberg attends but won't testify about, it'll be up to Cohen alone to carry it. And his biggest task, he has to tell the truth. If you believe, as I do, that he is basically telling it, and has to let them not get his goat, not get into a screaming match, not pound the table, not get proud. He's going to have to just take it on the chin and say, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?" When they point out all the crappy things he's done, or maybe he can resist the way they put it, but he can't fight them too hard. That's hard work to do, especially if you're a proud person, and he certainly is that. On the other hand, he surely knows the importance of it. He's prepared more than any witness I've ever heard of, with the 25 plus meetings with the prosecution, and he knows the deal here. So we'll see. My personal prediction is he'll do better than people are expecting, and all in all present a credible account, a believable account. And if that happens, really they're left to just sort of technical arguments about intent and individual pieces of paper. But if they basically believe Cohen, so the stakes, needless to say, are very high. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.